Okay, can we please call the meeting to order?
Mr. Melody.
Here.
Mr. Valentine.
Here.
Mrs. De Silva.
Here.
Mrs. Gillis.
Here.
Mrs. Rigby.
Here.
Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, do we have a motion to appoint Tyson Hodges as President Pro Tem for the board meeting? Treasurer. It's been a long day. Do we have a motion to appoint Tyson Hodges as Treasurer Pro Tem for the board meeting this evening? Appointment to terminate automatically upon close of the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Valentine.
Yes.
Mrs. Rigby.
Yes.
Mr. Melody.
Yes.
Mrs. Silva.
Yes.
Ms. Gillis.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Okay. It is recommended to approve the meeting minutes for the June 13th regular meeting. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, please call the roll.
Ms. De Silva.
Yes.
Ms. Gillis.
Yes.
Mr. Melody.
Yes.
Ms. Rigby.
Yes.
Mr. Valentine.
Yes.
All right, motion passes 5-0. All right, now it is recommended that we approve the meeting minutes for the June 29th regular work session. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, please call the roll.
Mr. Valentine.
Yes.
Ms. Rigby.
Yes.
Ms. Gillis.
Yes.
Ms. De Silva.
Yes.
Mr. Melody.
Abstain. Motion passes 4-0. All right, and we have a motion to approve the meeting agenda for July 7th as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, please call the roll.
Ms. Gillis.
Yes.
Ms. De Silva.
Yes.
Mr. Melody.
Yes.
Ms. Rigby.
Yes.
Mr. Valentine.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Public participation for action items on the agenda. There is no one signed up this evening. Move on to Board of Education committees and assignments. Does anyone have any committee updates or comments for this evening?
Actually, I do have a question. Do we have someone that's appointed as the OSBA, now I can't think of the name of it, Achievement Liaison? Because I don't remember seeing that on our list, but I've been getting emails.
The legislative
So-
assignment?
No, it's Achievement Liaison. And I saw today that they have a meeting on August 10th. So I don't know if that's me. Since I'm
That is a
getting,
new one. We don't have a board assignment for that. We have the legislative
right,
assignment.
and I know
liaison.
that one is me. So
Right.
I'm happy to attend the August 10th if I'm available. But I didn't want to, just want to make sure it wasn't someone else's.
Yeah, I did a quick Google on everything. Just typing that in, and it looks like other school districts who do it essentially have their OSBA legislative liaison do it.
Okay.
Like everything's a name, OSBA legislative liaison and OSBA student achievement liaison. Is it
Okay.
student achievement?
Yep, student
Yep.
achievement.
All
Yep.
right.
All right.
Yes, so I think back in January, we had assigned a primary and a secondary for the legislative liaison. So if you are unable to attend, let us know and we'll see if someone else can cover that.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, thank you. All right, if there are no other committee updates, we will pass it on to Superintendent for comments.
We will start by welcoming our students here today. And Will, if you want to just grab Mrs. Schwanke's mic, and you are up for the first time. And we welcome our student representative to the board.
Hi. So, obviously it's the summer, so we don't have anything dramatic to report. But we had a couple updates so far that students from the district have been participating in. And the first one is just kind of the end of the school year highlights. We had the senior clapouts from the 5th grade level to the 8th grade level to our seniors, and those were normally accompanied by a pep band from each school who just kind of celebrated the fact that we have these seniors who are graduating. And then we also had a parade at Kaufman, which I believe happens every year, so carrying on those traditions, which for the first time in a couple years. I know here at Emerald Campus we had the seniors for the IB Diploma program went down and visited every single floor, and all the teachers came out and clapped for them on the balconies, so that was really cool. Senior Kings Island trip, all the different schools went to Kings Island, so that was really exciting to see because, like I said earlier, that hasn't happened in a couple of years. And then also graduation, which was neat to be able to see all the family and friends just get together and celebrate these students who have been in the district for some of them their entire lives. Summer events, we had a STEM camp here at Emerald Campus, and this was run by the high school students from Drome's STEM Friends Club and other high school volunteers. And it was attended by Dublin high school students as well as middle school students and elementary school students. I can say that my sister attended and she thoroughly enjoyed it, and a fan favorite was the elephant toothpaste, which don't ask me what it is, it's just some sort of chemical concoction. And then in around June 11th, I believe it was, somewhere around there, we had the honor flight trip, which obviously, as you guys know, dodgeball, all that money that we raised went towards the honor flight organization, and we got to have some of our graduated seniors from Superintendent's Advisory take the trip out to DC with some DCS staff members to be able to kind of experience that with some local area veterans. So I think that was a really cool experience for those people. And just, it was a really great way to see our commitment and our giving as a community through the dodgeball pay off and be able to see in concrete actions what we did and the change that we enacted. So I think that was a really cool addition, and those are just some of the highlights from the summer so far. And it's only July, so who knows what's going to happen next, but we're looking forward to another month and a half of summer, and the school year will start eventually, but yeah.
Thank you. And our 4 seniors now, class of 23, will be working to help identify 4 juniors as we work with the principals and use both the superintendent student advisory committee and the buildings as a way to get input from our students and have that voice here at our board meeting. So thank you and welcome. And I think they'll be rotating different times, so we'll get to hear from all of our students. As we look at a couple things and just a brief update, I had the opportunity in March to lay out some specific goals for the second quarter of this calendar year. And I cheated a little bit. The second quarter was March, April, May, and June. There were 3 primary goals. One was the academic audit, which has been largely completed. The interviews have been done. They're still crunching some numbers for us. We had a preliminary report that was provided to Mrs. Schwanke and myself. It allowed us to make some changes as we go into the summer. The final report will be due in October, and one of the things that's important is as I started in a new role and Jen started in a new role, we have an awful lot of tests, an awful lot of money that we spend on resources, on programs, on processes, and in education, we're really good at adding things, but not always good at subtracting things. So to have an external expert come in and say, here are all the different reading assessments you give in grades pre-K through 3. Do we really need to give them all? Because we've added some over time. Here are all of the different programs we use to assist teachers. We've added. Are there some that we can take away? So that report will come to us in October. That timing is intentional. It allows us to digest, to reflect, to talk with our coaches and our coordinators and our principals and our teachers And if there's an opportunity to be more streamlined and more efficient, we can make those changes before we go into the next school year. The second goal we talked about was the strategic plan and vision work. Our folks at Planning Next last week met with 5 different community groups. Many of you are also part of those groups when it comes to PTO president, senior citizens advisory, student advisory, key communicators, and the Business Advisory Council. Logan came and talked with those folks, brought someone from his team, and got some really good information that we will now, after the meeting with the board and with those groups, they'll meet with Teachers Association in August, and my goal is to have a draft survey to the board for your review in early August before we do a community survey and have some community coffee talks around those survey questions as we get back to school. That's probably looking last week in August, first 2 weeks in September. So you guys will get a preview of that survey. Mrs. Venny has been helping us out and has been leading that work, and we're on target. We worked backwards from a timeline of wanting to be able to launch around spring break of the next school year, because if we wait too long, people don't pay attention in April and May. So we want to be able to launch that while we still have everybody's attention, and to be able to announce that our strategic plan and vision at that time. We've also been working on culture and communication. The communications department got an audit back last week from Allerton Hill. That was lengthy, has a lot of great suggestions. Culture playbook rollout has been done to the buildings and the staff, and we will be doing a community one and a parent culture playbook rollout for any interested parents in August, and then the R-Factor training. So the goals that we laid out, that I laid out for myself in that second quarter, by and large are done. And some of them actually carry over as I share with you third quarter for, now we're looking at July, August, September. We've got to continue that strategic vision work. This will be a goal until we get that done. And when we look at objectives with key results and look at short-term goals, one of those OKRs is this strategic vision and mission work. Adopt vision and mission statements. Get the master facility plan rolled in, and we had a great conversation with Logan on Wednesday about the master facility plan and what does this look like and how do we bring this together. And then that community involvement. August, September, get the community input that we're doing there. The culture and communications work. One of the things that we're really going to focus on is who's the intended audience. We've heard from PTO presidents several times that they feel flooded with information, so much so that they don't always digest what they get because they get so much. So how do we work on that intentional audience focus when we share information? The R factor for our teachers and the culture playbook for the community, and then some website improvements. Eric will be taking a lead on this for our team as we work on improving that website. We know where people go and what they go to look for, and it's pretty consistent, the reasons that our parents go to the website. They don't go there randomly just for fun. They go there when they want something. So we can do a better job of that. And then finally, my goal as we start the school year is, with the help of Mr. Ulring and Mrs. Althouse, to align professional development. And the goal is to align it from CO and then allow building principals to own it. So as we look at, and I think Mr. Valentine asked at the last board meeting, we've got a bunch of substantive changes to board policy that will impact how our teachers operate, especially around controversial issues and other things in their classrooms. To be able to get that PD to the principals so the principals can deliver to their teachers, that's critical. We also want the year to be more aligned. Last year, we had a DEI day and a MTSS day, and then we did a day on pick your topic. We want a year theme aligned so that we're all on that same page and so that there's clarity for our classroom teachers. So as I look at July, August, September, starting a new school year, in addition to safely getting everybody to school and all those fun things. Those would be the goals that I have. Are there any questions from the board?
So when you say a themed calendar, are you talking, sorry. When you are talking about a themed calendar, is that like one topic for the entire year or one area? Can you say a little bit more about?
No, I think when we look at rolling out our culture playbook in our VBOs, if everything we do, we intentionally look at how do I take personal responsibility, how do we operate as a team, and how is this part of our growing every day? So even for our safety day, as we plan tabletop exercises, when we talk about what happens in the event of an active shooter, let's look at that using our VBOs and how we handle every situation. So if there's an event that takes place, what do I need to do? What do we need to do? And how are we going to continue to learn and get better? So if we can have those types of themes to all of the work that we do, not only does it allow us to provide the necessary training, it reinforces a common thread that we want to be able to, as a district, say helps bind us together.
Thanks.
And that's all I have.
All right, thank you. We will turn it over now to the treasurer for comments.
All right, we have 3 items on the agenda tonight for your approval. The first one is the June 30th, 2022 financial report. So this financial report is the final report for fiscal year 22, and we added about $8.4 million to our general fund budget, which is on target with our estimates. The second item that we have on the agenda is a student activity purpose clause 2 from Jerome High School. And then the final item that we have is a Dublin Music Boosters lease agreement. And we added a clause in here that would allow other booster groups to participate in concession sales. Are there any questions from the board?
All right, so no questions. And for item 5E, it is recommended by the treasurer that the Board of Education approve the June 30th financial report, approval of the student activity purpose clauses, and approval of the Dublin Music booster lease. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, questions or comments? Okay, please call the roll.
All right. Mr. Valentine,
Yes.
Mrs. Silva,
Yes.
Ms. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. Melody,
Yes.
Ms. Rigby.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Okay, Deputy Superintendent, comments.
Okay, there are several items on the agenda tonight for consideration. The first is a first reading of our elementary, middle, and high school handbooks. This happens annually. Our principals get together in committees to discuss small changes that they might want to make to the handbooks. You will see any suggested changes highlighted on the document you have in front of you. These handbooks are put in front of all parents, and they are asked to read them and sign off that they have read them every year. Moving down the agenda, we have a couple of other items for your approval. Move to Learn is a professional service agreement that we have with St. Bridget of Kildare for students who need OT and speech services. This agreement will be paid from the non-public school allocation of district's IDEA-B funds. And again, important to note that Dublin City Schools is the fiscal agent for state and federal St. Bridget of Kildare funds. Similarly, I'm a little out of order on the agenda here, but another St. Bridget item here is a contract for Spirit of Peace clinical counseling. That's again for students attending St. Bridget of Kildare and will be paid from the non-public school allocation of district federal IDEA-B funds. We are also requesting tonight that Cindy Schultz continue to provide Orton Gillingham training and coaching to DCS staff. As you know, we have added Michael Myers as he is a district employee who is a fellow through Orton Gillingham Academy, but he and Cindy will continue to provide training and coaching for the district staff in the Orton Gillingham approach. And finally, we're requesting that Cindy Pennington continue to provide professional development and coaching to our intervention specialists, implementing the Matthew C program in special education classrooms. Matthew C is an explicit, structured, and systematic program for math for using multisensory teaching techniques. And Cindy's going to make sure that we implement Matthew C. with fidelity to students with disability as outlined in their IEP plans. Any questions for me?
All right, thank you for the update. Okay, item 7E, it is recommended by the superintendent that the Board of Education approve item 7A, the professional services agreement for Move to Learn. 7B, approval of the payment for Cindy Schultz, accredited Wharton Gillingham training. 7C, approval of the payment of Cindy Pennington. And 7D, approval of the agreement between Spirit of Peace Clinical Counseling and Dublin City Schools. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any questions or comments?
In the early childhood handbook, it talks about paying through Easy Pay. Probably needs updated.
Great point. That
Okay,
is
that's my
absolutely
only
true.
note.
That needs updated. Thank
Okay,
you.
that's
Yes.
it.
For the rest of you, we did switch from Easy Pay to, is it school pay, Lindsay? Pay school? Pay school.
Yeah.
We'll get that updated. Thank you so much.
All right, if there are no further questions, please call the roll.
Ms. Rigby?
Yes.
Ms. Gillis?
Yes.
Ms. De Silva?
Yes.
Mr. Melody?
Yes,
Mr. Valentine?
Yes.
motion passes 5-0. All right, Chief Operating Officer comments?
Good evening. Last week, the board approved our school resource officer agreement with the City of Dublin, and this week, we're asking the board to approve our school resource officer agreement with the Union County office. This is a nice agreement. It's with the U.S. It's with the district, Union County, and Jerome Township. It's a nice partnership, and they basically take half and we take half. So we're asking the board tonight to approve about a little under $61,000 for an SRO for the schools of Depp Elementary and Eversole Middle School. Any questions?
Is that the same agreement that would come into play, for instance, like with Eli Penny, where it's Concord Township, Delaware County?
Good question. No, Eli Penny is covered by the Dublin SRO. So what happened is, how we really fell into this is when we opened up DEP in the middle school up in Union County, it became a little stretched for the Dublin agreement to reach all the schools, because our Dublin SROs also cover some of our Columbus schools as well. But they were a little stretched here, and Union County really worked with us and helped us out with this agreement. So this agreement just covers those two schools.
All right, thank you. Okay, so it is recommended by the superintendent that the Board of Education approve the 2 attached agreements regarding the hiring of Union County school resource officers for Depp Elementary and Eversole Run Middle School. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, questions or comments? Please call the roll.
Mr. Valentine?
Yes.
Ms. Rigby?
Yes.
Mr. Melody?
Yes.
Ms. De Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Gillis?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
All right, Executive Director of Human Resources.
Good evening, members of the board. We have several HR items on tonight for your approval. I'll go through each section. On the certified agenda, you'll find Tom McDonald's resignation. And as Dr. Marshausen said last time, he's accepted a superintendency in Marion Pleasant Schools. We're happy for him. We'll see 2 resignations and 9 new hires. As of 5 o'clock this evening, we are 2 positions away from being 100% staffed for the beginning of the school year, so we're excited about that. There's a salary change, and then 2 substitutes who will be working in our student support services area. As we get ready for the next school year, we have several fall and year-long supplementals and pupil activity supervisor contracts on for your approval. And then there's also a 6-period pay request on tonight, and those are from Grizel Middle School. Moving on to the classified agenda, you'll see 2 resignations and 1 retirement. Cinda Crum is on for retirement. We want to thank her for her 8 years of service in our district and transportation. There are 11 new hires on tonight's agenda, along with 2 individuals that have helped with summer school. You'll see several salary changes on the agenda, and then a request to change salary grades for positions in the treasurer's office as well as the human resources department. This request is being submitted to bring a few of our positions in line with prevailing market wages and to keep Dublin competitive. In the case of the HR department, this creates consistency amongst the classified staff and places all the staff in the same pay range. Any questions for me about items on the HR agenda?
All right, thank you for the update. All right, it is for item 11C, it is recommended by the superintendent, the Board of Education approve items 11A, approval of the personnel action items for certified, and 11B, approval of the personnel action items for classified. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Additional questions or comments? Please call the roll.
Ms. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Mr. Melody,
Yes.
Mr. Valentine,
Yes.
Ms. Rigby.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Okay, Director of Community Engagement.
Good evening, everyone. So we've got a few slides with some celebrations and wanted to share a little bit about learning that's happening in the district over the summer. Will, you stole some of my thunder because you actually shared one of the opportunities that is new this year. The photograph on the top left is from the STEM Friends Camp that Will mentioned, so I'm really glad you explained that a bit. It's an exciting opportunity, one of two middle school STEM opportunities that were new this year. The picture below that is from the Higher Up. It's a industry-recognized credential camp that we piloted with high school students. They got to go on some field trips. They went to Amazon and Kroger and learned about they built a LinkedIn account, they did mock interviews, a lot of career exploration, really fun adventure for them. All three of those opportunities were grant funded, free to students. There was transportation provided, and those were kind of exciting new things that we wanted to share about. There were so many opportunities for our staff this summer so far, and still more continuing, both admin and teachers. One new opportunity I wanted to highlight was we completed an educator bus tour in partnership with the Chamber and several in-demand careers in our community. You'll see on the screen Viva, Air Force One, and Ohio Health. A thank you to them for helping us host this event. We piled teachers and counselors and administrators on a school bus, and we went and visited these locations and heard from professionals and got to see kind of behind the scenes what happens in these organizations so that our educators can take that back to their schools and integrate that into the classroom to better prepare their students. So that was a fun new opportunity as well. And on the next slide, you'll see some of you had the opportunity to participate in our festivities for the 4th of July. The parade was a little different this year for us because we retired our float and we brought out the school bus, which was a great way to represent our district with one of our shiny, gorgeous buses. And we had kids on the bus. Some of your kids were on the bus. And we marched with some cheerleaders from CELS, and then there were others in our parade. As always, our bands participated, and it was a great event. We're thankful for the partnership with the city and all the work they do to put on the event. I love this close-up photo from the bus because it was fun, and you can see everybody in their gear and all that candy. Oh my gosh. So we also had a great time in the evening at the concert and the fireworks. It was just it was a safe, wonderful event that was enjoyed by all. So just some celebrations and learning. Good things continue to happen in the district, even over the summer. And we're getting ready now to prepare for convocation and back to school. So the work doesn't stop, but it's all good stuff ahead. Thank you. Any questions? All right, great.
Okay, thank you. All right, items for board discussion or future agenda items? Guess I don't hear any callouts. All right, so do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Is there a second?
Second.
All right, please call the roll.
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Ms. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. Melody,
Yes.
Ms. Rigby.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Everyone have a great evening. Thank you.